Hey, what's up, guys? Colby Cheese here, and I'm doing a shoutcast commentary deal here for a Go4LoL match that was sent in to me by Team BG, and they're going to be playing against Team SoL. Now, I'm not quite sure what the team name stands for. However, it apparently is supposed to be a pretty good matchup. The interesting thing about this one here is that Team BG has been doing this strategy where they will use dual supports. So what they'll do is they'll have, for example, a Vayne go bottom lane, of course, pretty standard there. However, then they'll have their Janna actually do solo mid, and they'll have an AP Taric up top. Or actually, I'm not sure if they're going to have AP Taric top or Taric with Vayne. But in either case, it is a dual carry setup in which it does rely on them trying to get a little bit of farm onto that Janna and make her a lot stronger than she would be if she was an actual support champion. So of course, since this is not an actual game on the tournament realm, I'm just going to have vision from the viewpoint of, well, Team BG, of course, since they're the ones who sent me in the clip. Actually, it was Wallstop that sent me the clip. So we'll have a vision from Amumu. Hopefully he will be able to keep an eye out on what's going on in the lane so that we can see the health bars and things like that. Of course, with LoL replay, there are some problems with health bars not showing up if you're not looking at that as the person sitting in the replay. We'll see how it goes. Either way, it looks like we're trying to just avoid any level 1 conflicts so far. There was a nice little CV there in the middle of the camp, but we just saw one person. That's probably good enough to assume that there's not going to be any foul play anywhere else. If you see one person from the team and looks like they're guarding that area, you can generally infer that nothing's going to be happening anywhere else. So yeah, pretty standard. They're going to be sending Taric down with Vayne. And Atlanta may actually solo top. That does make more sense. Annie is more of a solo mid champion anyways. See if we get a nice little leash here onto the blue golem. Let me just learn a skill on my side here. That way I don't have to worry about that. So let me just speed the game up a bit because there's not too much going on. That's the cool thing about having a LoL replay is you can just speed it up a little bit until the laning phase begins. Alright, so there we go. That's going to be good enough. And let's see if I can get everything back to normal. Sounds good. And let's take a look. So Janna going to be going up against a Colby up top. Hopefully she does well there. I'm sure that we're going to see a level 2 gank. Yeah, there we go. So Wallstop probably picked up his bandage toss for a nice little level 2 gank. The cool thing about being on the blue side is that you can actually go up behind this little triangle bush here and go for one of those ganks. So Akali's going to be jumping in this bush to try and zone out Atlanta a little bit. A little bit does he know that Wallstop is on his way, and I doubt that they're going to get it. Well, they might get a kill here, or at least pop a flash, yeah. So Akali, of course, has to pop her flash, just making her a little bit more vulnerable for later. And I think that Atlanta should have a pretty decent advantage here until at least around level 6 or so, once Akali gets pretty strong. Since Janna does have pretty good lane presence with that shield in a 1v1 situation. Taking a look down bottom, they're going to have to be careful here to not get caught in a bad position. Oh, but there's a little bit of a gank coming on to Mandatory Cloud. Let's see if he can get away. And a nice little stun there and pushes him away. But they do get jumped on by Susie Sween. And I don't know what the HP is looking like here for Lemon God, but it's dead. It is pretty low. He does go down. Oh no, this is going to be a double kill. Got a little bit greedy there. Mandatory Cloud will be going down. Actually does get a kill in return. So they are able to match that up a little bit. There was a kill somewhere else. Oh, never mind. No, there wasn't. So pretty good play there overall. And regardless of Vayne getting greedy, I think I would have preferred to have gotten a kill as well myself. A little bit of extra gold does help out. However, they are going to lose a little bit of experience in this lane. The bad thing about dying in a lane whenever it's being pushed like this is that the creeps obviously are going to run up to the tower and you're going to lose those. On the other hand, the Tristana will not be losing whole lots of creeps, you know, other than just a few here or there until she gets back. Let's just take a look here. Annie doing really well on farm, keeping it up. And Brand actually really far behind that Annie. That's curious to see that. And look at this up here. I am only Oh no, it looks like a little bit of counter jungle. Almost missed that, but it looks like Disco Decay either had a reward or probably just assumed that Amumu would be in this general area and came up. What a nice catch by him. It's really hard to deal with a Lee Sin if you get counter jungle. He can just keep you slowed and stick to you like glue. It's really hard to get away from him, especially as a just a champion who relies on just walking like Amumu. He's more of an engager, not someone who can run away. So I have to give him props on that one. Lee Sin picking up that kill. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I was going to say that it's interesting that Annie's actually doing so much well compared to what Brand has. Generally, Brands will beat Annie in lane. He's actually catching up a little bit there, so maybe it was just that creep wave that he had to push down. We'll see later on in the game how he does, if he can get a kill or anything like that. Now, I'm not sure how Top's doing. Pretty much even. Amumu was looking for a gank there. He's only level 3 after getting counter jungle there. I'm not sure if he actually got his red. It was too late to the party there to actually notice if he was able to pick that up or not. Oh no, they must have this warded or something, because in comes Susie Swain, gonna go for another kill on a wall stop. Let's see if he gets that Q, and he's gonna go in for the dive, and he just might get it with that. I don't know. He doesn't have an ignite, so that health potion is going to help him out. A little bit greedy there. Lemon God able to put a stun onto Lee Sin and pick up the kill. And Susie Swing's going to want to jump out of here as soon as that cooldown is up. There we go. And they're going to be able to make it out fine. Unfortunately, though, down goes Lee Sin. And that kill went to Vayne, I believe. Yeah. Or maybe it went to Tarek. Yeah, I'm not sure. Either way, Tarek and Vayne both have a kill. So good stuff there. And Wallstop is able to get out alive and actually pick up a small golem. So he wasn't counter juggled too terribly bad. Alright, here we go. A little bit of aggression going on to Susie Sween. Looks like she did get stunned into the wall, both by Lemon God stunning her and Mandatory Cloud pushing her there. Mandatory Cloud out of mana now, so not going to be a problem. She got what she was coming for. Alright, Atlanta now keeping up with the Akali. However, they're about to be level 6 very soon. Yeah, it looks like they are level 6 now. And so we're going to probably see, or we could potentially see a little bit more aggression from that Akali. However, at the same time, you could argue against that, since the Janna simply has to throw up a tornado, and that will push her away and allow her to kind of get away, in addition to having a slow. Bottom is doing really well. Tarek and Vayne is a pretty difficult lane to deal with. And the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about... Oh no, look at that. A little bit up top, a bit of a gank coming in with Lee Sin going full force onto Janna. I guess she did not see that, did not notice it on the minimap. And it's really hard to deal with that type of damage output. Lee Sin plus Akali, that's some big damage. And it seems like mid's been pretty stale so far. Just lots of passive farm, and mostly Annie is destroying Brand in farm. That's the only thing I'm noticing here. I don't know if that is just due to the fact that the Annie is able to zone Brand out somehow. I'm not sure why, though. Brand generally has that range advantage against Annie and should be able to beat her without too much problem. Hard to watch them, though, with all the action going on in other places. Alright, we do have a little bit of a CV going on here. Disco Decay is going to pick up his blue. I don't think there's going to be any counter jungle going on. I think Brand may even pick it up or potentially just guard it. Yeah, so he's going to guard that. Nothing they can do about it. That was kind of buggy. That's the only thing I hate about LoL replay. It looks like someone's going to be aggressive, but it's really just a positioning bug. Here we go. There's a ward catching up to Leesid coming in. Hopefully she caught that and she's going to be able to get away. I'm sure she will. Oh, man. They just barely miss hitting her with his Q. Wouldn't have really amounted to anything, but any damage is good. Akali now does have that giant spell. She's very close to getting the Rileys. Once she picks up the Rileys, it's going to be very difficult for Team BG to deal with that. Atlanta now with just 2 Doran's rings, so I imagine she's going to have trouble if she gets jumped on. But down bottom, looks like Lee Sin did stick around and he stayed in the bush there. in an attempt to do a surprise bush gank. Never able to pull anything off, unfortunately, for them. So he's just going to walk back up to his jungle, most likely. He's got a double buff. He may even do a counter jungle, so they're going to have to be careful here. If Lee Sin decides to come up into this area, Amumu could potentially get counter jungle again. However, with Lemon God and Mandatory Cloud close by, it might be a little bit more difficult to do so. Yep, there it is. Just what I was expecting. He's going to come up for that counter jungle. He is 2 levels higher than Wallstop. Wallstop still doesn't have his ultimate. Bad bandage toss. I'm not able to get anywhere near him. But he does get pushed in the wall. I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll be able to get away. Just, yeah, I think he uses his shield to jump over to a teammate there. Either way, putting that pressure down onto Mumu, forcing him to get out once again and continue to be under-leveled. So this Lee Sin's doing a great job in the jungle. And that's kind of what we like to see from jungler, is just constant pressure onto the low lanes and constant pressure onto the enemy jungler. That's really what defines a very good jungling champion, is somebody who can do that. Colby is doing a great job of pushing this lane as well. Janna had to go back. Let's see what she picked up. A Kage's lucky pick. I do know that Lana enjoys going for a DFG as early as possible, so we should be seeing one of those before too long, and that's just to augment her little damage output that she can do and make her a little bit more useful in fights and whatnot. So there we go. CV onto Lee Sin, knowing that he is there looking for some kind of counter jungle. He may have a ward there, but we're not sure. No oracles out on the map for anyone just yet. However, that might be smart considering how much counter jungle is being put out onto Team BG. But it looks like there's a little bit of action going up top. Atlanta does go down to Akali. Is she going to get away? Wow, with barely any HP at all. That's a very good job by her, being able to pick up that kill and make it out alive, no problem. There you go. Brand going to do a little bit of aggression onto that Annie. Missing his Q, though. He does get the W off, putting some damage on her. I'm not sure what health loss she takes. I'm sure it's not pretty, though. Lemon God now down bottom. And Mandatory Cloud just going to continue to try and farm while they are being pushed to the tower. They have to be careful with no ward control. That Lee Sin is all over the place, putting lots of pressure down. There we go. Wallstop able to put down one ward. And I'm guessing that Lemon God and Mandatory just haven't been back yet to get those wards. Here we go. Brand's going to go up for the kill. And Susie Sween jumping in from behind. Taken out. Bellis, no problem. What a nice gank there overall. Susie has to be careful. He's getting really low. And Wallstop is going to be able to get out of there. And just enough time. Because if Brand was able to... if he had his cooldowns up, he would have probably taken him out. If he stays in, though, I don't think he's going to have much chance. He has no creeps to hide behind here. So if Disco Decay or Deathmonger... well, Deathmonger has no mana, so he's not going to do anything. Yeah, there we go. Disco Decay hit that. That would have been a little bit dangerous for Wallstop. Down bottom, in meantime, they are taking lots of damage onto this tower. I think that it could potentially go down. There's no way that Sony can really defend that. And mid is fine for now. Wallstop will be able to hold that back. Most likely. Yep, there we go. So that's a good job by Team BG, able to actually pick up that tower. That's going to be a better advantage for them than just losing Annie there in the middle, since Annie is already super farmed anyways. Let's take a look. She's at 88. Brand kind of catching back up a bit. Who else? Akali's farming really well up top. Also, Janna now falling back, seeing that she is Janna. You know, she's not really meant to be a carry. Although, you can farm pretty well on Janna. Once you get a little bit of AP, you'll be able to AoE down those creep waves really easily, actually. Alright, so Mumu's going to pick up his jungle, and will we see a dragon soon? I think so. Let me look at his wards. He's got one ward ready to go. He'll probably place it in this area if they do decide to go over there. Janna is being right now. They're going to have to be careful, though. They could potentially push this tower down. I see Lee Sin was going for some aggression onto Janna. I'm guessing that she was low. I didn't have her health count. But there we go. He is just looking for any gank attempt possible, putting pressure everywhere he can. This tower is going to get pushed. I don't know if it's going to go down. I'm guessing that Living God's going to get there and try and AoE that down as quick as possible. Amumu going back, no mana there. He did clear out his jungle area with taking that red, etc. Still no dragon yet for both teams, at least from what I can tell. I don't think the dragon has been picked up for Team SoL. So far, Lee Sin is just being a beast here, running from lane to lane, putting down lots of pressure. And I'm guessing if Atlanta stays around too much longer, he's just going to continue to get dove by the Sakali. And Lee Sin should be around this area. I did see him last on the map over there. We go. That is what I was expecting. He is going to go for the kill. Unfortunately for him, the creeps are in his way, and he's not going to pick that up. Both Annie and Amumu were there to pick them up if they decided to continue being aggressive. So that's good on their part that they had moved back. And mid stays still as usual. Nobody really making any crazy aggressive plays. Wallstop will pick up this blue. I'm assuming no one else really needs it. I'm guessing Annie could take it, however... No, it does look like Annie... No, I thought she was going to go get it, but maybe not. Brand's probably one that needs the blue buff. Okay, so I'm missing a little bit of action down here, my bad. Susie Sween getting taken out, and now an exhaust going on to Regeron with a stun from Lemon God to pick up the KS onto that Vayne. Bottom tower now down, and bottom lane doing quite well. So let's see, they've got 89 creep score versus 81, so a little bit of a lead there. However, 1 kill ahead is going to be nice. I think Lee Sin is just going to continue trying to farm here. Not going to really go in and be too aggressive against that Vayne. It might be against his best interest to do so, since she can just ult away and things like that. Although, he can still reveal her in stealth if he hits his Q or W. Nice little pink ward here is going to help out against the Akali. If she tries to be super aggressive and then go into her Cloak of Shadows, she will be picked up and potentially killed if she doesn't know that's already there. I don't know if she has any idea that's there. Here we go. Looks like Lee Sin and Sona are coming around. Probably don't know the Limit God's there, though. Either way, that's 3 versus 2. I don't think I'd want to fight that. Yeah, there's the ward. I just saw it being placed down. See, Wallstop just teleported back. Guessing can't stay around too much longer. Nice job there by Deathmonger. Going in for a kill onto Annie. Probably not. Oh, it is enough damage. Good job by him. Getting a nice stun on her. Comboing into a Pillar of Flame and an ultimate. They'll probably pick up an easy dragon here now that Annie is not able to defend that. Nor is Wallstop anywhere nearby. So that is going to go uncontested, no problem. Great job, I'd say, by Team SoL. Here we go. Colby wants to come in for a dash onto Atlanta. I don't think it's going to matter, though. He's just going to put down a little bit of poke for here and there. And Lemon God's going to need to be careful. He's there 1v3, and he doesn't have any support. Hopefully that Vayne will be back, and I know that Wallstop's on his way, so they'll be able to defend that tower, no problem. Uh-oh, but he's going to have to be careful. He does get stuck onto by Disco Decay. Not taking too much damage. He's getting fairly tanky. He's already got a Heart of Gold at this point, as well as his cloth armor going to be building into an Aegis before too long. And let's see if they can take this tower. They're just going to continue poking on it until the creeps go down. They do want to be careful that they don't get engaged by Wallstop's ultimate, however. At the same time, though, Annie is pushing the middle lane, knowing that all of them are down bottom. She has vision of them coming up to stop her, and I'm sure she'll back off in time. At least if she's paying attention. There we go. Maybe a little bit late. Let's see if she can get out of here without taking too much damage. Nice juke there, coming out right on the other side. Lou! Boom! Big damage. I have to give it to Annie. That was a great play, dodging that Q, and then coming in for a big combo, followed up by Mandatory Cloud for the kill. That's 4 now for Vayne, I do believe. Yeah, 4 kills for Vayne. Fed Vayne is the way to go. I have to say that although Vayne has been toned down, if she gets a couple of kills, she's super strong. I'm guessing Wallstop, yep, there you go. He's going to be placing down that ward for some map control onto those wraiths and any kind of ganking going up towards the top lane or coming from the red down to the middle. That's probably one of the best places to put wards overall, and both here in this direction as well as right here. So far the game is fairly even, although they have 1 dragon for Team SoL, 1 tower is down for BG. So All we need to see is one more dragon from Team BG, and they should be a little bit ahead, actually. Here we go. Deathmonger is going to continue farming. Let's see if he's catching up. He should be doing a little bit better now that he has higher AP. 117 to her 150. No, not really. She is just continually farming here, unstopped. I mean, she got killed pretty much once, but it didn't really detriment her farming too much at all. Let me move my microphone here. There we go. Now, I'm not sure what the timer is on Dragon. We don't have a ward there. Uh-oh, looks like that was a nice CV there, picking it up. And, oh, that's interesting. Disco just revealed that he had a ward in that area. When you do actually do one of your abilities like that, it will show that ward. Okay, here we go. Looks like Atlanta's going to get jumped onto by a Colby. I don't know if she's going to be able to stick to her. There's the Ignite. And a pushback. She's going to have to get out of there. She might actually go down. Yep. That's a scary position to be against, especially with a Riley's Crystal Scepter against a Colby. You're going to have to be really careful. Those 3 dashes, it's really hard for you to get away, especially with a even with a slow and a tornado and your ultimate. Still is not enough. There's the Oracles on that Sona. They're doing a great job. Team SoL is pretty much running around the map with full map control now. Here comes a Colby, maybe picking up a kill onto wall stop. I think that they're going to have to be careful here. Deathmonger is taking lots of damage, though. Brand will almost go down, but nice shield there. Looks like that shield just barely keeps him alive. So Boss, the Annie goes down. Limit God is going to get dove here. And I don't know if he's actually going to die, though. He's going to stun Disco. Disco's going to need to get out of there. Boom! Big damage, taking lots of hits from that tower. Is he going to lose his Oracles to this Janna? He just may. He wants to get out of there. Oh, no! Nice job, Mandatory Cloud, flashing over the wall, picking up the kill. And another kill for him. And then shut down. Atlanta kills the Colby. Great job. That was a nice play there by BG, turning a bad situation into a good one. The fact that the Oracles was lost is a really, really big deal. And I don't know, but I think that Sona and Lee Sin both had an Oracles, which is interesting. We'll take a look. Once Lee Sin comes back to, Sona, I don't think Sona died there, but we'll see if she has an Oracles when she comes back. If she, yeah, okay, so they both had one. That's what I thought. So that's too bad that Lee Sin decided to, it's kind of bad coordination that he had actually bought that Oracles and then dove in like that, and it's kind of obvious. I mean, Tarek's going to stun you. But he still went for it anyways. This is really greedy with an Oracles against the Tarek at their base under 2 towers. Under 3 towers. He was down to the 3rd tower. I mean, that's a lot of diving. Anyways, that's 2 towers down now. I think BG's doing a great job. They're only 2 kills behind, but those 2 tower advantage is going to give them great map control. Even though they don't have any wards, they still have that tower to fall back to. Nice job there. Looks like Vayne is going to try and go for the kill, but all 5 of them are there. She's going to get out of there pretty quick. She's probably going to get stunned here. Oh no, that's going to be a nasty kill. Mandatory Cloud giving lots of gold to the whole team. 439 to Susie Sween. Not the person you want to get the kill to either. Already with a Bloodthirster. Of course, Vayne does have, let's see, Vayne does have a Bloodthirster of her own and a Negatron Cloak to try and counter out Brand. There we go. SoL picking up a tower finally at 23 minutes. And here we go. They're going to be picking up once again another dragon. I can't remember if this is the 2nd or the 3rd dragon. But either way, that's a pretty nice lead for them. All they have to do is pick up 1 tower, and they've got a really good advantage going on here. Amumu does have his Aegis built up, so that's going to help them out quite a bit in the fight. In addition to Tarek's armor aura that he already has. See, if you just take a look, he's already got 100. He's got 103 armor with only a cloth armor built up, and that's not even with Amumu around. We'll see what it goes up to when he gets there. So far, once they're in a teamfight situation, Tristana and Lee Sin are going to be a lot less effective due to all of those armor buffs team-wide across everybody. go. So everybody's just kind of playing it safe. She's going to go back, buy some items. Yeah, finish off that death cap. That's going to be a really strong Annie. 3 Dorans, making her tanky enough. And then the Rabadon's giving her the burst capability to just completely destroy somebody. Brand's still not with that. He's doing the same build as her, but he's not quite at that level. I'm sure that... Let's see, let me take a look at the kills, though. I'm sure that with his 2 kills, that more than compensates for the amount of CS advantage that she has. I'm guessing that he'll go back and buy his death cap here very shortly as well. Let's take a look. Disco Decay now going for his... I'm guessing he's going to build into... Well, I don't know. Maybe a Trinity, since he has a longsword. Alright, here we go. A little bit of a push going on in the middle. I think that Annie should be able to defend this with her AoE as well, but they are going to need some backup here because that tower's pretty low. They can potentially get in dove. There are 4 people here. Okay, there we go. So they don't want to dive this now, but Wallstop very low, taking lots of damage from that Brand. That's one good thing about Brand, is that he's got so much poke. It's just really hard to deal with him. That Vayne's going to have to be careful. She got into kind of a bad position, but it was a nice job. She dodged that Sona ultimate. And now with a nice ult back from Wallstop, Wallstop's able to pick up a kill onto Akali, and now Wallstop finally goes down. However, they are able to pick off Tristana. Limited God keep himself alive just barely. I think Brand is almost able to pick it up, but not enough damage. Down goes Sona, down goes Lee Sin, and down goes Brand. That was a really good team fight. Nice ace. Only person dying was Wallstop, but he already got off all of his cooldowns anyways, so all the people that really mattered were still alive that fight, especially, you know, considering even Janna, who's kind of an AP carry here, in a sense, you know, AP support, sorry. She's able to do decent damage with her tornadoes and all that good stuff. They're going to go ahead and take the advantage of that team fight into a tower kill and potentially another one. I don't know if they're going to push another one or just be here. Maybe just pick up their buffs and go by. Yeah, there you go. We'll see what they decide to pick up from the base once they get back. Tarek going straight up support. No real AP items or tankiness. Just the Shurelya's Revelry. They want to go in for that fast engage. I'm sure that once they do the call for it, he'll pop that Shurelya's and have Wallstop jump in there as quick as possible, along with Annie able to engage faster and things like that. That coupled with Janna's passive is going to make them just a really fast team, able to get around the map very, very nice. So I'm curious if he's going to build this into a Frozen Mallet. Oh man, he gets stunned. I don't think they're going to be able to follow up on that. He did get away. But anyways, I don't know if he's going to build that into a Frozen Mallet or go for a Trinity. Probably a Frozen Mallet, I would assume. He wants to just be tankier, considering that he did go into a Hex Drinker. Oh, here we go. He's going to have to be careful. I don't know what he was thinking. He kind of jumped into a bad position there. We did take top tower there. Nice job, BG. You're going to have to be careful. He's, okay. Janna uses her ultimate to push away the Akali just in case she was going for it. Oh, are we going to see a... Oh, never mind. There's a CV there. CV is going to catch that Annie. Otherwise, she might have actually gotten a nice kill onto one of them. What did she pick up on the way back? So she's going to be going into most likely a Void Staff for the magic penetration. Janna billing her way towards that death cap already with an needlessly large and blasting. And what else do we have? Wallstop now has a giant spell. He may go for a Sunfire Cape. That could be what he's going for now. And Akali, with everybody going towards Dragon, could potentially take this top tower, but at the expense of that. I don't know when it's going to be up, though. Let's see. I don't know if they have the timer on. It looked like they're going for it as if they had the timer, but they potentially were just looking for some kills. Annie's laugh. You silly girl. Okay, so there's a ward catching Akali. I don't think they're going to be able to really start anything here. Unless he gets a nice stun here, we could... Oh, no, that was a blind bandage shot. Well, not really blind. I think that he was expecting her to continue walking, but it still would have been nice for him to save that. If they really wanted to kill her, they could have used some flashes. Oh, no, Janet getting caught over here by Bran and by Deathmonger. Not good. There's a missed Sona ultimate. That's too bad. He kicked her out of it. Now she's going to walk away scot-free. Bran being picked up by the Annie. Now they're going to be in a really bad position. Wallstop gets in here. He's going to use his ultimate, but he has no mana, so he's not going to be able to do that, actually. And, okay, Annie's now going to get destroyed right after the Lee Sin goes down. Boom, big damage. Looks like she's able to get one last auto attack. Mandatory Cloud able to pick off a Collie. And is she going to get Regeron? I don't know. She's going to have to continue chasing. It's going to be close. I'm pretty sure that Cheezeworld will be able to actually jump pretty soon over that wall. So I don't think he can get the kill unless he's got a flash to follow her. Oh, there we go. They do have two flashes there with a stun. Limited God taking the kill, and he's going to go for the dive onto Sona. Nice job. That was an amazing play by Mandatory Cloud and Limited God. Using their flashes to pick up 2 extra kills. No problem. That was pretty good play overall. They're going to take these creeps here. Good farm. Don't think they're going to continue pushing that, but that gives them a little bit more of an advantage for later on, and they'll probably try and get all lanes on the way up towards that tower, giving them either a Baron forced fight or potentially another tower in just a second. So I have to give it to BG. They're doing really well right now. It has been a close game this whole time, though. Let's take a look and see. Yeah, there we go. They're going to be picking up this dragon now. They're going to have to be careful. I'm assuming that SoL will head this direction. Now, I'm not sure if they have vision. Yeah, there we go. Bran's the only one here, though. He's going to have to... Oh, goodness. He's going to get caught. No, not good. Deathmonger gets caught by that Janna. And Mandatory Cloud does get destroyed as well. So that's 1 for 1 so far. Colby with the GA is going to be hard to deal with, but now she gets caught. She's already going to lose her GA, and she's not going to make it out of this. She's just going to get stunned by that Annie. Annie's going to go ahead and pick her up. Also, Lee Sin getting killed by Atlanta. Good job there. And now with only 2 people left, they're going to make it out of his. Wallstop going to be able to catch somebody with his Q. He might just get it. No, he doesn't. But that would have been pretty sweet if he did. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Looks like Atlanta's going to use his DFG to take a lot of damage off of Tristan's health. Him and Tarak are able to pick her off. Really big damage for a combo of supports. And there's the GG call. Surrender vote goes out. The game goes to BG with the double support play. Great job, Atlanta, on that Janna. I've seen some nice tornadoes from that. And overall, it was a pretty good game. Victory. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this Colby Cheese. For more videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel, share it, and like it if you liked it. Otherwise, hit, thumbs down, but don't do that because you suck. No, I'm kidding. Peace out, guys. See you around.